Elizabeth Warren is now officially a leader of the Democrats. In a closed-door meeting today that reportedly lasted nearly 4 hours, Senator Warren's colleagues in the upper chamber voted to give her a key role in shaping the party's policy. Today's leadership elections, the Democratic caucus, which came after the party experienced a drubbing in the midterms, returned Nevada's Harry Reid to majority, soon-to-be minority leader. His top deputies, Illinois' Dick Durbin, New York's Chuck Schumer, and Washington's Patty Murray, all returned to their leadership slots. And some new faces were also elevated. Senators Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota and John Tester of Montana, along with the aforementioned Warren, who, at the urging of Harry Reid, was given a newly created position specifically for her. Warren will now be the Strategic Policy Advisor of the Democratic Policy and Communications Committee. In addition to helping steer and shape policy, Warren also will, according to several reports, serve as a liaison to liberal groups to make sure their voice is heard in leadership meetings and discussions. The question now is whether this new leadership role for Warren is a promotion for the Massachusetts Senator or a co-option of her progressive views. Joining me now, MSNBC political analyst Joan Walsh, who's also editor-at-large at Salon. What do you think?
I think it's good news. I'm happy to hear it. I mean, I worry about the liaison part because that sounds like she gets the job of listening to us gripe about the Keystone XL vote, and she gets to listen to people gripe, and then progressives don't necessarily get to see Harry Reid. We still want to see Harry Reid. So that part I didn't like when I was just hearing about that. But shaping policy, I think, is a great role for her. She is the person who tells the best story in the Democratic Party right now.
That's a great point. There's two parts to this. One is, I have the same feeling about liaison, because I remember the White House liaisons to progressive groups, their job was to go and either take abuse from people that were furious at them or tell those people
bad news.
STFU.
Right.
Stop coming here and bothering us. We don't want to see you, and get in line.
Right. Right. So that part I don't like, and I don't think she's really going to do that. And the thing about Elizabeth Warren, I mean, if anybody thought she was going to be a potted plant or she was just going to sit there and listen to progressives whine, they should talk to Tim Geithner.
Yep.
Because she has taken even ceremonial-looking roles, like oversight of TARP could have been a nothing job.
Yeah, she was on the Congressional Oversight Panel, which was basically a throwaway.
We can't name oversight panels. We never hear about them. Right. But she made that, you know, a top headline, leading the nightly news kind of job.
And she also, this sort of strategic policy, one thing that she is, I think, clearly this kind of progressive icon right now.
Right.
And part of that is that she's gotten very good at putting together messaging and policy, you know? So on the student loan bill,
right.
You know, students should be able to borrow the same as the Fed, right?
Right.
It's just like this basic banks and students should be able to borrow at the same rate.
Right.
To boil down complicated policy to something simple and use policy as a kind of messaging tool.
Right, and I think that, you know, one of the things we kept hearing last week, and we're still hearing, is that Democrats didn't have a message, minimum wage isn't enough, and she really is someone. I think the issue for us right now, Chris, not just for progressives, for the country, is that we have not figured out how to rebuild the middle class that got built in the 50s and 60s and early 70s. And she has a story about why that fell apart and how it needs to happen again, and she's the best at telling it. When Barack Obama tries to say, you didn't do that alone, he turns it into, you didn't build that, and he's kind of clumsy with it. And Hillary Clinton turns it into, businesses don't create jobs, and that's not true either. She is elegant with it, but it also has substance. It's not just about sloganeering.
Yeah, and she's also been a really quick study, because I remember there's a period, people loved Elizabeth Warren, then she ran for Senate, and she had a rough few first months on that campaign, because it's hard. You're in a totally new universe, and the campaign trail is a bizarre, surreal world.
Yeah.
But she's gotten very good very quickly, is what I'm always sort of note about her when I see her now is, wow, you haven't been doing this very long, and you've gotten very good very quickly.
She's really good to watch her on the campaign trail, but I think she's also been really good in the Senate. And, you know, my only worry, I guess, is that I don't want anything taking time away from the job that she needs to be doing and legislation. But, you know, let's be honest, there's not going to be a whole lot of pushing real legislation and muscling things through committees for the next 2 years anyway. So it's a time to hone the message. That
was the other part of this. It seemed like a signal to me about what the Democrats are going to be in the minority about, sort of honing that message. Joan Walsh, always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
It is finally time for my interview with Jon Stewart after this.